So is this the next big upward push? We're going to get into that today and talk about some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta going forward, looking at GME and AMC as well. Real quick, I just wanted to say thank you guys who were a part of my live stream this morning, who understood I had to leave a little bit early because, you know, when family comes, you know, family is probably the most important thing to most of the people out there, even a part of this community, and it really showed, and you guys were very respectful and understanding. I had to go and help out with some family stuff, but I'm still trying to take some time away to do this video for you guys real quick. So really appreciate it, and I will try to stay live as much as possible tomorrow in the morning there. So I know usually I am trying to do it as much as I can. So thank you guys for that. But we got to talk about how we might be making the next upward push. Now around this area, we were talking about how the 30-minute was saying most likely we head up from here, and now that 2-hour did confirm that we are going to see upside, and that's exactly what we saw from the SPY today. We saw upside. So the thing about making this upward move right here, yes, you do have room to get more overbought on the 2-hour, but I just wanted to show you guys the 30-minute here and show you guys how this could be overall a more healthy buildup from here and maybe a trade opportunity, okay? So what I would really want to pay attention to here is that the 30-minute is pretty cooked to the upside. So there's two things going on when I see a move like this. One, where is it and where's the next resistance? Well, the resistance is right above us, okay? Right above us, which tells me something here. In order for this to really go higher, it has to break through this level. So would we want one strong push all the way up into here that possibly could just die out eventually? Not necessarily. I think we actually could come and test this level. I think there's pretty much two things that could happen from here if we're going to continue up. And one of them is better than the other, in my opinion. The first one being, okay, we have a daily expected move. We have 551.13 to the upside, and we have 546.89 to the downside. So the first one would be kind of a bad scenario if we're going to break through this resistance here, which is we just gap above it. I think if we gap above it, we're going to run into a lot of problems in this area. There's not a lot of implied volatility for the SPY, but volatility, we're going to look at that at the end because some kind of weird signal is popping up on a 2-hour that I want to pay attention to just in case for tomorrow. What are we noticing from the SPY? But it's not able to break through the resistance right now, but if we gap above it, that's going to get us really cooked on a 30-minute, really cooked on a 2-hour, and it's starting to lead towards this area being some kind of fade. So I wanted to bring that scenario to your attention. Now, how would this move actually be healthy? I think it's in a perfect area. You know, a perfect area kind of matching this right here. I actually think it's in a perfect area to see some kind of pullback. And this is what I'm talking about by the trade opportunity might be there. You miss out on the initial push, all right? We curled up, we went positive. That means positive things happen. Look at that. But I think this right here will prove to be important because if we're going to remain healthy, this little pullback can mean a lot. It can mean a lot going forward in order to break through these key resistances here. So the most bullish thing I think that the SPY could do and remain healthy, you know, going forward past tomorrow would be to create some kind of dip right here in order to curl down to that center line and curl back up. And then I think you could see a bigger push from the SPY overall, getting up towards that weekly expected move. Now, if we start to get excited, we gap up to this level, I would really pay attention to some things fading because we have a lot of things outside of their weekly expected moves. So just pay attention to that. The Qs looking forward, kind of same thing, right? Same thing. Now, the cool part about the Qs was instead of making that almost double bottom like the SPY, they actually got a higher low, which was closer to the center line. So boom, there you go. Okay, upside looks like the most likely scenario. That's what we were saying yesterday. And upside is what we got. Awesome. It went outside of those moves. So we experienced something that was a little bit crazy, and we keep experiencing it over and over again where we come outside of these weekly, most of the time it's like a monthly expected move. That does not happen a lot. So this tells me something weird and fishy is happening in the market, very confusing things, because you land in that zone 68% of the time, but we're noticing over the last 6 months, we've seen a lot of stuff closing outside of those weekly expected moves or those monthly expected moves. And that's something to think about. Now, what are we doing for the Qs? Well, we're coming up to that point too, where it's a very important resistance. It's great to get to the test of this level. Now I think the best thing for the Qs to remain healthy is to pull back maybe to this daily expected move and then curl up by the end of the day. Just something like this can go a long way when you're breaking through that divergence, gaining those buyers down at a lower level to really break through can remain healthy, and we could end outside of the weekly expected move and end up healthy. So pay attention to that. But if we start to get excited, I'm going to pull up a 2-hour. If we start to get excited, this is what can happen, okay? We can head up to a daily expected move way too quick. This is a solid move, but I'm just saying a little pullback can go a long way. As of right now, this area right here for the Qs is going to prove some resistance. And if we start to try to gap up or something like that, it might not be the best news. It might actually indicate that we're going to see it fade. And if that gaps up and then fades, we could actually see this roll over, and maybe this wasn't the right one to take, but your timing was just a little bit off. And this is going to be divergence if you end up in that zone. I wanted to bring those to your attention. And just so we're clear here, the daily expected moves to the upside, 490.16 to the upside, and we do have 483.80 to the downside. So if you're interested in learning a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here, divergences, learn about weekly ranges, learn about these momentum indicators in depth, and get a trading strategy, learn how to make ranges for any stock. We teach a ton of things managing the trade in the course. The course is only $100 for like 5 more days. It ends on July 7th, so I highly encourage you get that before the price jumps up. I just wanted to say that real quick. I'm not going to mention it a bunch, all right? The 2 hour, this is interesting for Apple. I really want to pay attention to this for Apple because it is seeing something crazy, right? We have that weekly expected move. Now we're seeing something a little crazy, but we're slowly building this 2 hour divergence, which can roll over daily charts. Now, why would I want to pay attention to a daily chart rolling over? This looks good, right? But maybe this is starting to get a little too excited. I really would have liked us to come to this point, dip down, find those buyers, remain healthy. As of right now, we're starting to look even more a little bit towards the overbought side almost, right? If we just go a little bit higher, we're going to be overbought, and then that might just be ripped away. So we could see fading from Apple. So just some things I want to pay attention to because I'd like to see good structure in these overall moves, and I can see the setup and I can take it. 2 hour pulls back, then it pops back up. Awesome. But at this level, I have to pay attention to divergences. I'm outside of a weekly range. I'm going up towards monthly ranges at this point. It's a lot of buying while the dollar remains higher, guys. Now, the reason I really want to pay attention to the 2 hour divergence that likes to roll over dailies is if Apple starts to roll over here, it does have daily divergence, and this drop can take you all the way to that center line. It can cross that center line. So if we start to get this daily divergence to complete, we could drop and see a pullback all the way back down to 197.47. We could pull all the way back down into our zone down here, which ends at about 187. That would be a big 40-point drop, okay? That would be almost a 20% drop there. So something to pay attention to, because this right here might pop up, fade, and then we see that trickle all the way down. And then I think that 197.47 is a great level to pay attention to for Apple. But you see how when you move up too quickly, things start to shape up like, ooh, when the selling does come in, it might come in a little bit harder. So watch out for Apple. It still looks great. It really does. It looks pretty good. You got another one. You got a little pullback. You curled up above the center line, okay, or above the 9. Then you curl back up and you're curling up on the MACD. Everything is bullish about this. I just want to be aware because it's at extremely high levels where a pullback on the daily scale looks kind of necessary. And I would watch out for that, especially when we have earnings around the corner. Maybe this wants to dip down before the earnings. We don't know, but I'm just paying attention to what the charts are telling me. 2 hour divergence, daily divergence at the same time. Tesla, seeing something massively crazy, and closing at the high of the day. Very, very interesting for Tesla going forward. So looking at this one, you would say crossed up, positive territory, even on this bar, right? So there you go. This right here would prove to be something. Right, this bar right here looks pretty good as far as the swing trade goes, if you're above the 200, that is. But there you go. There's a good trigger for positivity in the overall stock. Boom, we see positivity, great positivity. I'm slowly scaling into a position here for some kind of downward drop just because we're already outside the weekly. Right at this level, I believe. Yeah, right at that level, I believe. And then we're already outside the monthly, which is right here. So we're out of both, which tells me 68% chance to close below this level by the end of the month, and 68% chance to close below this level by the end of the week. Now, that doesn't mean take a position, right? This still looks bullish on every single chart. It just looks like it needs a pull back. What we would do is we'd break out of the zone, we retest that zone, then we can head higher. I think that would be a great look for Tesla going forward. Very bullish move. Nothing bearish about it just yet. Even on the 30-minute, we're finally getting the hints of, hey, this could be a 30-minute pullback, but look at this pop up at the end of the day. We pop up at the end of the day, meaning, hey, that pullback might just be a pullback with time, and we can just keep going. This is outside of the weekly. That's where you see crazy stuff. You start to get outside of the monthly, you might see something very, very crazy. I'm managing my risk here. I know that the only thing I'm going to risk is a very, very small position. I'm in no way doing my normal $1,500 to $3,000 behind a regular trade. I'm doing a little bit less than that, somewhere around $1,000, ready to kind of scale in once I see a reversal signal with my last bit there for this one. So not worried about it, but if things start to just, hey, they're not pulling back at all, I may have to reposition at that point. So Amazon, this one I'm very, very worried about because you know where you're at right now. You're at a weekly expected move, and this one's not bursting through. It can start, right? A lot of these things can start to burst through, but as of right now, you have a 30-minute divergence right here. You didn't have that right here, right? We curled back up, positive territory, positive move. Awesome. Now you created a 30-minute divergence right at that weekly expected move. This is something that we mentioned in the Patreon update video because this is what we overall look for. This is the type of thing that you're going to learn how to trade in the courses, or in the course, sorry. And right here, but the thing that you need to understand is you need to have these things confirming downside, because once they confirm, it can tell you a little hint and say, hey, this 2 hour is about to turn over. What's the thing about the 2 hour? You have divergence as well. So that 2 hour telling you there's divergence as well, which means right now it could see an overall bigger pullback, maybe below this low, maybe just to this 50 on the 2 hour. So what do I want to pay attention to with the daily side? Well, the daily side has a little something else to say, because I do have divergences on the 30-minute. I do have divergences on the 2 hour. None of those are completed yet. That's important to understand. But I do have divergences on the daily all across this thing, man, all across it. If we're taking it from this point, you have it again right here. Now, there is an opportunity for it. This might not even prove anything, right? If this does not turn over, we could be making the first point that then leads us into an overall push like this that creates the divergence in the future. You have to be aware of that. But as of right now, I'm paying attention to the signals in front of me. If this would curl over, that would mean some bad things. And right now, you have a 2 hour divergence and you have a 30-minute divergence all at the same time. So pay attention to Amazon. Nvidia, this one here, still a bunch of chop, moving down just a little bit with that chop. No real signals on the 30-minute to pay attention to, but the 2 hour is curled down in negative territory. So right now, it is still saying that Nvidia will head down. According to the MACD, it's still saying Nvidia will head down. If that curls up, though, notice you are close to the center line. So if that goes positive, you start to break above this 126.40 level, then start to close above that. That could be a bullish run, man. So just pay attention to Nvidia. It has pulled back on the daily for a few days. This is what Nvidia likes to do. It can pull back for just a few days, and then we can see some kind of pop. As of right now, your 2 hours saying it's pointing down, but you're overall in just a daily pullback. And so if this wants to curl down just a little bit more, curl down just a little bit more, and then curl right back up, boom, you got yourself a swing trade. So paying attention to Nvidia for a swing trade, there could be another move higher unless we're going to see something bad happen because of maybe AMC and GME. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, one bullish thing for AMD here, strong bar, very wonky bar throughout the day, broke through, wick down, then broke through again. So confusing one on the shorter time frames, but there you go. You got it crossing up really close to the center line. This looks like bullishness for AMD. Now, in the short time frames here, you would say, well, if that daily momentum is going to take over, awesome. We're going to see upside, but right now the 30-minute is pretty cooked. So if you want this to remain healthy, most likely you see a retest, right? Most likely we go and we see some kind of retest of 160.83, maybe even a full retest of the broken trend line again, and then we'll have to find out from there. As of right now, it looks like the 30-minute, I wouldn't be going in necessarily on the 30-minute trade because this would be chasing. If you're doing it on the daily, I totally get it. It's curling up, positive territory, looks like a good swing trade to me, right? And we're going to put out that swing trading course very, very soon. But if you wanted to learn all of this stuff, the course that's out there is such a good course. It is so good, and you can probably just learn how to swing trade just from it. Now, Meta, looking forward, we do have the daily that's turning over in some kind of pullback. So what do we want to pay attention to? Well, the 2 hour curling up is going to be very important here. Okay, so your bullish case here is the 2 hour curls up and everything's jolly and we start to go higher. Maybe we make a triple divergence here on the MACD and the RSI at the same time. And as of right now, you would just say, hey, look at that. Just look at it, man. Just look at it. Just look at it, you know? So the other point here is if this curls up, positivity, awesome. If the 30-minute though curls negativity. Now this has built up pretty well based on the 30-minute, right? We were down at lower levels here for the MACD, able to go positive. So we have to look for possibly a higher low. This would be great. This actually would be a good thing. Now, the only thing you don't want to happen is you probably don't want to break this low right here, because once you do, you might be seeing a little bit of structure here to head lower, and we don't want to see that from Meta, right? Maybe some of you do, but maybe some of you don't. So really it just is 30-minute curls down. Probably not the moment for more positivity. 2-hour curls up, some more positivity is coming in, keeping it pretty simple for Meta. Now looking at AMC, this did what we were talking about. It said 30-minute. We talked about this multiple times. We've talked about it for weeks now. If that 30-minute crosses over, you're in a 30-minute pullback, and it's very difficult to say that is just going to rip the next day. It can. That 30-minute can get up to here. Okay, it crosses up above there, and you just see this thing run. But the main thing you need here is going to be daily side stuff, all right? So we tried to pour some Japanese mayo on this bad boy to get it running. Looks like it worked a little bit. And then what do we notice, though? The 2-hour starting to get pretty cooked. It looks like it might need a pullback as of right now. So if that 30 minutes going to pull back this 2-hour, we really got to look, because this might be the moment way over here. As of right now, this said pop. 2 hours have led to some good pops. Boom, there it is. So 2-hour dips down again, curls back up. That's when I'll be paying attention to this. As of right now, though, the daily is so close to crossing that it's kind of like, hey, this thing could pop off tomorrow if it really wanted to. It really could. And the thing is, this was crossed up for a brief moment, very brief moment today. It was crossed up, and then that thing started to pull back just a little bit. But this is still a bullish thing. All it needs to do is confirm that momentum heading up. The RSI has already done it. We just need the lagging indicator being the MACD to do that. You see that cross up, daily momentum takes over. Some good stuff can start to happen as long as we're able to close above 555. GME, same thing. Right now, it really needs to curl up to show that positivity. Hey, curl up above all these moving averages and go, man. Get above that 2766. But it hasn't happened yet. Now, I wanted to show you guys a crazy cool signal here for GameStop, and that would be the 2-hour. I want you to look at this, because this completed at the end of the day. Now, it doesn't mean everything's rainbows and sunshine. We have to pay attention to our signals, but this here curling up at the end of the day kind of says to me, hey, this is 2-hour divergence. We could start to flip up that daily, okay? Now, if this is not a strong enough base right here, maybe this dips down for one more brief move. So 2-hour curls up, goes positive. Positivity can come. Maybe we turn up that daily chart. But if the 30-minute is able to rotate back down, look where it is. It's really close to the center line, able to rotate down. Negativity would be there. Maybe we need to create a stronger base first. This is a signal I will be paying very close attention to, because this is everything I teach in the course. This is everything I look for in a trade, a 30-minute divergence with a 2-hour divergence at the same time, while a daily is saying, hey, I want to curl up and maybe make another positive move. So if I get this, I'm going to get pretty excited and maybe be trading some GME to the upside. So we'll find out going forward. As we look forward, just looking at the volatility, this is something I thought was interesting. I talked about us making like a double bottom here. It really started to smash down, and something funny started to happen on the 2-hour, which was we made a divergence. These divergences here lead to pops on the daily scale. And the thing about the daily scale is that just turned over. So this is telling us that volatility should keep continuing down. But you notice the last time we saw that signal, we just turned right back up. And now I'm seeing a 2-hour divergence. So if we see volatility popping, that could pop as soon as tomorrow with that 2-hour divergence. And we could see this daily chart here on the VIX actually turn back up, making a point of divergence for some kind of double bottom here. So I would really be paying attention to your risk, really managing those trades, really trading like water going forward in all of your trades, really in all of them, because this right here could be a little fake out that just turns volatility back up. We could see something bad as of tomorrow morning, but right now, just pay attention to your signals. Everything looks pretty good in the SPY. Everything looks pretty good across the board. Tesla's looking bullish as heck. Even AMC's looking pretty good. We have GME looking like it could pop up with that 2-hour. You're seeing a lot of stuff that could go up. And volatility is also showing you kind of a signal that, hey, volatility could scale up as well. So just pay attention to that. That's pretty much the main takeaway for today is everything I just said. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And thank you guys for being so understanding on the live show this morning. We're going to try to be live a little bit longer, right? The regular amount of time, probably tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you guys then. I hope that today's video was very helpful. If you would like to learn some of this stuff, that course is down in the description. It's only $100 right now. It's very, very good and very cheap. So if you're dedicating yourself to learning, I overall just wanted to create a course to show you guys how we can really simplify some of the things that we're doing. And a lot of people in my chat are always saying how much it has helped them. So I really appreciate that. And thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing. You guys are always fantastic. And I look forward to streaming with you guys tomorrow. I look forward to saying good morning and chugging our coffee together. All right. Have a good night, guys. Peace.